For weeks, the Allies poured men, supplies, and steel into the Solomon Islands, protected by the 1st Marine Division, which fought the enemy across 2,000 square miles of dense jungle terrain on Guadalcanal. Yet even before the battle was finished, Admiral Gormley ordered the capture of Shortland Island and its vital floatplane base. With supplies running low and little intelligence on enemy strength and movement, the Marines went ashore just after midnight on June 3rd. Now, with the island secured and resistance collapsing, Allied eyes turned northwest. The next objective was clear: Rabaul, the fortress of the Bismarck Sea, and the most heavily defended Japanese stronghold in the South Pacific. Its harbor and airfields were to be taken intact, no matter the cost. Hello, welcome back to War on the Sea. It is day 100 of the campaign, June 5th, 1942, little after noon, and I will briefly go over what has been happening. In the last episode, we managed to take control of Shortland Island, and these are the air units we will be able to use here. Of course, we can't yet because we don't have any engineering or fuel, but this is the troop count, supply count. We still have a few troops, Japanese troops here left we're trying to defeat. Task Force Zebra is heading back to Guadalcanal. I don't think there's many troops or supplies here to pick up, but we're just getting out of the area. Task Force 3 with Yorktown has, let's see, we have 14 Wildcats here, and then we have 14 running combat air patrol. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to bring down another task force to Guadalcanal area. Let's see what the Hornet has. They got a full complement, looks like. Enterprise, they're missing 1, and they're missing 3 Dauntless, I guess. So, and some Avengers too. Let's have Hornet. Let's have Task Force 2. Yeah, we'll have Task Force 2 start heading that way, split Hornet from the group, have them come over and get the rest of the aircraft that they need, and then link back up to Task Force to head back down to Guadalcanal. And as soon as they arrive, or at least get close, then we'll have Task Force 3 head back up. We have Task Force Victor with supplies headed down to Guadalcanal. We also have Task Force X-Ray with more troops and supplies and some engineering headed down to Guadalcanal. Of course, Task Force 1 with Enterprise is still here. Task Force 10 is still here. And I think we have, yes, Task Force 32 with a couple of British heavy cruisers on the way to join them. Task Force Fox is headed back to Midway. And we have a couple of escorts. I forgot to send this one down to Tarawa. That's pretty much it. I've decided, though, what we're going to go after next, and it's going to be Rabaul. We definitely need that port and airfield down here. I'm not going to bombard it because I want the port and airfield how it is, but we do, again, we have Zebra here, and there's plenty of troops and supplies at Shortland, and I believe, yeah, there's some coming from Victor. And we also have Task Force, again, Task Force X-Ray loaded up. So as soon as they arrive with their troops and supplies, we're going to load up Task Force Zebra with troops and supplies as well. And we're going to dump them all at Rabaul. We're probably going to land with about 8,000 to 10,000 troops and 12,000 to 15,000 supplies. We'll see. That should be enough. But that's the plan. We're not there yet. Again, we're going to swap carrier task forces here and get supplies down here and set up for that. Hopefully we can get to it this episode. We'll see. June 6th now, a little after noon, and we have a couple, well, maybe more than a couple. It says 5 ships, maybe 2 fuel ships. And it looks like, yeah, they're headed towards Shortland. Interesting. Let's launch some fighters, I guess, from Yorktown and some bombers. Pretty sure these are going to be transports. There may be some escorts, but we're going to go ahead and just load up with some semi-armor piercing on the Dauntless. So we have 10 Wildcats and 24 Dauntless, and let's go take a look and see what this is. And if they are transports, we'll just bomb them back to the Stone Age. Okay, this looks close enough. Let's get in the Dauntless, go into tactical, and see what we're dealing with here. What do we have? Is it just 2 ships, really? Okay, we have a transport and a fuel ship. Is that all? That's all they have. Well, this shouldn't take very long. Let's get the Dauntless ready. Apparently the Japanese were trying to sneak in a couple of transports to help Shortland Island out, but that didn't work so well. Both are sunk. Let's retreat and head back to the carrier. 4 p.m. now, same day. Task Force 2 and Hornet have arrived at the Guadalcanal area. We'll just get them on station right about here. We'll move them up a little bit. When they get over there, Task Force 3 Yorktown, they're going to go back to Tarawa to have their aircraft replenished. Almost 10 p.m. again, same day. I've actually decided to leave the Yorktown here, even though we don't have a full complement of aircraft. I'm leaving it here because I think we're going to need it against Rabaul. I think we're going to need 2 carriers down here, and I think they have enough aircraft to help us out. So let's get Task Force 2 a little further up, ready to go. And we're waiting on X-Ray to bring us the troops and supplies. And again, as soon as it arrives at Guadalcanal, we'll load up and leave for Rabaul. June 7th, 11 p.m. at night, Task Force X-Ray has arrived. They do have some engineering. I'm just going to unload everything. And then we're going to load back up. Take these 2 task forces to Shortland, pick up more troops. How far are we here? Okay, looks like we should be defeating the Japanese any day now. Okay, here's what it's looking like now. Whipple has supplies. Macaulay, this Macaulay has troops, supplies. Task Force Zebra, we have supplies in the escort. No troops yet because I'll show you Guadalcanal. This is where we're going to leave this here, the troops and supplies and whatever's left. I'll go back to Zebra again. So we'll pick up the troops for these ships at Shortland. And then I got a few of them with supplies, 3 of them with supplies. This one does not. We'll pick up supplies at Shortland. Next day now, June 8th, 6:30 in the morning, and we have some Japanese search aircraft near Tarawa. Which direction? Oh, they're coming from the northwest. Looks like they slipped around my mariners. Let's send up some Catalinas and see what's going on. Just a few minutes later now, and we have even more coming from the southeast. I just launched the Catalinas. I have yet to find the other task force in this area. We're going to launch 3 more and head down to the southeast, I guess, and see if we can find if there's another task force in this area. All right, it looks like we found one of them. I don't know. It doesn't tell me what it is. Let's go into tactical, see if we can figure out what we're dealing with here. Ah, there they are. What do we have? Destroyers, light cruiser, destroyer, heavy cruiser, another battleship, heavy cruiser, light cruiser. Wow. Okay. This one's pretty significant. I mean, we have 2 heavy cruisers and a battleship. Actually, that's a heavy cruiser. Okay. Yeah, this one has come to smash up on Tarawa. Let's retreat. Not sure what we're going to do about this one. It's sitting right here. We'll go ahead and mark it. Let's see if we can... I don't think they have any other task forces in this area, so we'll get the Mariners down here to keep track of this one. And as soon as we find the other one, we'll move the Catalinas up to keep track of it. 9:30 now in the morning. Update on position of the first task force. It has moved slightly. It looks like it's moved, let's see, 50 nautical miles or so to the southeast. We will keep track of it. Okay, it's a bit after noon, and we just got word that enemy forces have been defeated on Shortland, and sure enough, they are now gone. We still have 7,400 troops, 5,100 supplies, and again, we will be bringing Zebra. Yeah, Zebra's the one. Bringing it over to Shortland, picking up those 4,600 troops or so and some more supplies, and all 4 of these task forces will then be heading to Rabaul. Now, what's happening over here towards Tarawa? We're still tracking this task force, and I have separated Enterprise from Task Force 1. It is going to go get its aircraft replenished, and then we're going to try and get as close as we can and launch a strike against this task force. The reason being is I might lose it in the weather, since it is moving toward... I think that's what it's trying to do, is lose us. We're trying to keep the Mariners as close as possible to keep track of it. So here soon we will launch a strike against it. All right, it's almost 3 p.m. and I think I'm going to go ahead and launch the strike. Here's Task Force 1, and we are now about 275 nautical miles to target, and this is the reason I'm going to launch. Weather is not that great here. They could easily, well, maybe not easily since we're crowding them. I don't know where their search aircraft went, but I haven't seen any search aircraft around, so I'm kind of just hugging, just trying to stay real close to the task force so I don't lose them, but I still might. So I'm going to go ahead before, and it is getting a little late, so let's go ahead and launch some aircraft from Enterprise. First, the Dauntless. 3:15 now, and it looks like the Japanese have decided to launch some bombers at my 2 task forces. Not sure how they know. I haven't seen any search aircraft around here, so maybe they just want to. All right, these are closing in quickly, so it looks like we're going to have to do this first. Hornet fortunately has a full complement. We will... What time is it? 3. Let's launch probably half of Hornets and half of Yorktowns and meet them there. Okay, we have 29, I believe, 29 Wildcats in the air. I'm going to get them over here, and we will meet these bombers. Yorktown is now ready to launch aircraft. Is that... Okay, that's down here. Can Enterprise launch yet? I think we're still waiting. Yeah, 0.1 hour, and then we'll go after this task force. But it looks like we might have to defend here first. Yep, let's go. Okay, what kind of... Let's see what kind of aircraft we have, or how many. Yeah, we have 29. Here are the other Wildcats. Let's see what comes in. All right. Oh, yeah, nice. Plenty of bombers. How many do they have? They have 18. And what are they? Nels. Bunch of Nels. Fighter bomber, again, bunch of those. And maybe some others. Yep, some Bettys. Okay, let's hit them. Okay, looks like they're all gone. That was likely the first of many such attempts to get after our task forces. We'll keep the Wildcats up, obviously. And we'll see what else happens. Let's leave. That was 18 bombers down. And we haven't even started our approach to Rabaul yet. We haven't even picked up all of our troops yet. All right, we're now ready to launch more aircraft from Enterprise, finally. So let's get there and launch the Avengers. All 16 torpedoes done, and now we will make our way. How much? We got 340 nautical miles of endurance left. Let's get over there as quickly as possible. Okay, sure enough, it looks like the task force down near Tarawa has decided to make its charge at Tarawa. It is now moving in a northeasterly direction. That's great. An encounter at Wake, huh? Let's take a look and see what's going on. Ooh, this is interesting. Where did they come from? Let's send up some Catalinas, maybe 3 of them. See if we can get a little bit more information here. More bombers closing in on Task Force 2 and 3, moving up the Wildcats so that I can try and intercept right there. Let's go ahead and go to Tactical. We're going to get those bombers too. Where do you think you're going? Just wanted to get away from the task forces. Hopefully I can spot them out here. There we go. More Nels. Lots of Nels. Ooh, and some Emilys. Let's go. All right, another 24 bombers down, but we did lose some aircraft. Let's take a look at the report. We lost 5 Wildcats, 24 bombers, and there's still more coming in. Let's retreat. And I believe there's some others coming in also. Yep, there's some torpedo bombers, and these are probably zeros. How much endurance do the Wildcats have? 247 nautical miles. They will be able to stay up for one more fight, probably. Well, I take it back. Actually, it looks like the torpedo bombers and zeros are moving away from Shortland. I guess they got the message. Where are we over here? I got to move up the Mariners so I don't lose this task force. Okay, a little after 5 p.m. and we have arrived at the enemy task force. Let's climb into the Dauntlesses, go tactical. Oh, they're right in front of us. Can't really see them very well. In this low light and overcast conditions. All right. There is we're going to do the same thing we did last time. Take the Dauntless. Let's have these Avengers park right here. Have the Dauntless head right down the line here and hit these heavy cruisers, and then we'll see what happens after that. Be nice if we could sink the heavy cruisers and make this task force turn around. That'd be great. All right, here we go. Alright, I'm not exactly sure how that went. I couldn't really tell. I think it went okay. We'll look at the report and see. Well, we got heavy damage on one, moderate flooding, moderate damage on the other one. I think that's pretty good. If we get some damage on that battleship, I think they're going to leave. The battleship is number 2. Let's watch and see if we can get an opening for it. We're going to bring the Avengers down. It looks like, I don't know which way this is turning, but we'll see if we can get an opening. Again, not sure what I want to do with the other Dauntlesses. I might go after, oh, I don't know, maybe number 3. We'll see. All right, looks like we got several torpedo hits. Let's see. Dud. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4, 5, 6 maybe torpedo hits. Let's take a look at the report. Moderate, heavy damage, minor flooding on... That looks like the heavy cruiser. The battleship was number 2. So moderate flooding. Okay, well, we do have 2 more Dauntless groups. Might as well use them. They're right up here. Let's turn them around. And see what we could do. Maybe go after the battleship. Let's see, which one was it that had the heavy damage? One of the cruisers. I might want to sink one of them, maybe. All right, that's going to be it for this interdiction. We managed to sink, actually, one heavy cruiser because a destroyer ran into it. It was already critical damage, hit it, and it went down. So I decided to send this other Dauntless group against this heavy cruiser and missed. So this is the final report that we have here. Let's take a look. We have the battleship, moderate damage, minor flooding. The other heavy cruiser, heavy damage, moderate flooding, and one heavy cruiser sunk. Plus another, that looks actually like a light cruiser. There was another ship that, no, that's a destroyer. Another ship that was sunk. We got 4 command points. That's it. Let's retreat. That should be enough to force them to move away. We'll try and keep track of them. Let's go ahead and, well, if it isn't enough, then we're going to have an attack at Tarawa, but I don't think they're going to come in after that. Let's return to base. Still looking for this task force. The Mariners are almost out of endurance. 2 nautical miles left. There is a Japanese search aircraft here. It looks like it's landing. I sent off 3 more Catalinas to try and find it. Let's see where this thing lands. Ooh, right about there. Let's mark that just in case that's about where they are. I'm thinking that's probably where they are. We're going to go investigate this here in a bit. Yep, there they are, right there. Looks like they still might be moving. Let's see if I can get an indication of which direction. Oh, no, they're headed north now. They're headed north. So I think that's it for that task force. We're going to send the Catalinas out just to make sure. Send them over here, see if we can pick them up. Okay, 8:30 p.m. now. I'm going to take... I haven't been able to find them. It's probably because it's dark. Let's go in this Catalina, take a look. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to find them. Let's just... Ooh, I could barely see the horizon. Let's leave and just have the Catalinas head back to base. I'm pretty sure that they're leaving the area. Okay, lastly, Zebra has arrived. Let's manage cargo. And for the Paul Jones, they already have some troops or supplies. We'll get some troops for this transport. More troops for this transport. So we got, let's see, supplies here, troops, supplies, and one more load of supplies. We're going to leave at Shortland, 3,100 troops, 3,400 supplies. And now these 4 task forces will start making their way to Rabaul. We've already wiped out some of their bombers and aircraft. And Task Force 1 is pulling back along with Task Force 10. And that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. When we come back, we'll send out the search aircraft again, see if we can find... I'm pretty sure this task force is going to be gone, though, but we'll see. And then we will probably land on Rabaul in the next episode. Again, thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next time.